The number one money-making strategy for 2022, whether you are in crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or altcoins, this is the number one strategy. I truly believe that we are about to be at a moment in history, just like March 2020, that could have created millionaires and billionaires. So if you are ready to actually have the biggest strategy for 2022, smash the like button on this video, guys. I'm just going to get right into it. I think that there is something insane happening. I think that if you go back to the Bitcoin chart, we are at a moment in history that is exactly like what happened in March 2022. Now, I mean, obviously it's not a pandemic. Obviously, we're not all going to run into our homes forever. But I think we are setting up. Look at how small this was over here. This was COVID. Look at this. Look at that. You can't even see it. And then right after that, look what happened. The biggest wealth creation in the history of the world is on your screen right here. Now, what if I told you that I have a strategy that is going to capitalize on what I think will be the next biggest wealth creation in the history of the world? Would you smash the like button for that? Would any of you do it for that? Because please, guys, please do it. Please smash the like button, because seriously, I really do think I'm going to outline in the next 5 minutes how you can make the most money possible in 2022 with all of these coins. Because here's what's happening. We have gas prices at an all-time high. 4.173. The record was 4.173. This is the highest gas prices have ever been in the United States. And guess what? Today, Biden said he's going to ban Russian oil as well. So these gas prices are going to go up, 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 up. What does this mean? It means that inflation is going to go up, 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 up. And so overall, what we are seeing is that all of this stuff that's happening in Ukraine and Russia, and we are learning as a nation live that you can't just cancel an entire country and not expect there to be effects on the economy. If you look at Bitcoin, down, right? If you like ever since down. If you look at the NASDAQ, let's go to the SPY, straight down. The NASDAQ, straight down. Everything is straight down and to the right. And what I think is going to happen over the next few weeks and months is that we are going to have another crash. We are going to have another COVID-style capitulation crash. And the reason for that is that there is just too much bad stuff happening. You cannot just cancel an economy as big as Russia and not expect it to fade over into markets. We have oil going through the roof. If you just look at the oil markets, I mean, if you look at oil, crude oil, like just go to the crude oil on your trading chart. I don't even have it pulled up, but like, guys, when you see stuff like this, when you see stuff going, this looks like an altcoin chart. This looks like Dogecoin before Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is the oil price, right? When you see stuff like this, you have to think to yourself, wow, something's breaking. Something is going to break. And so you're probably thinking, Kale, how am I going to make life-changing gains when everything is breaking? Here's how. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to break it down for you. Let's go to a chart. Let's go to a chart that's going to figure this out. This is Pentoshi. You know he's called everything correctly. You know I'm a big fan, right? So this is his line. And the fact that he's showing this right now is where I see this juicy opportunity for all of us, okay? Because what he's showing is a magnet on 40,700. You're probably thinking, Kale, that means that Bitcoin price is going to go up. Right now we're at, what are we at right now? Right now we're at 38,000. So he is saying, Pentoshi is saying that we are, in the short term, we are going to go to $40,700. So that would look like this. That would look something like, oh, that's too far. It's a small move on here, but it would come up to like right here, okay? Now that's very interesting. Like it's honestly better on his chart. If that is to happen, I think that sets us up so well for the number one money-making strategy of 2022. You ready for it? Here, I'll show you one more chart before I get into the strategy. This is Trader SZ. These are the two traders I respect the most on Twitter, honestly. And he's showing as well, as you can see here with his little line, that he expects to come above 40,000 and then have this nice little opportunity for a short below this. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what I'm going to do, at least. This is up to you, whether you want to, however you want to manage your money. But I think this is like, at this point, it's like stealing. It's like taking candy from a little child if you want to make money in 2022, okay? Instead of buying a bunch of Bitcoin, why don't you just wait for Bitcoin to come up to about $40,700? Sorry about that. $40,700, okay? That's what we're looking at as a target. And then why don't you just create a short? If you guys don't know what a short is, it means that you're betting against Bitcoin. You could bet against Ethereum. Hell, you could even do what this guy is doing here. I thought this was genius. He said, I would like to see a spike, exactly like I'm saying, right? I would like to see a spike on Bitcoin to the $40,500 range. Might get lovely setups on altcoins to smack them back down if Bitcoin gets rejected. And he's shorting Luna, Matic, and AVAX. So there are different levels to this game. If you want to be very, very conservative, what I'm going to do with my conservative money is I'm going to short Bitcoin at $40,700. That means I'm going to bet that Bitcoin heads down from $40,700. You're probably thinking, Kale, why are you Bitcoin to the moon, Bitcoin forever? There are too many things that are going against us here, guys. Like I've listed out some of them here on Twitter, and you guys just need to follow me on Twitter. But the biggest one is that the Federal Reserve, and this is a little complicated for most of you, so I don't want to, it's hard to explain to a lot of people that watch this channel are like new investors, which is scary times to be in crypto because there's a lot of like really advanced stuff happening here. But overall, I think that inflation is way too high. Inflation is way too high. It doesn't seem like we're going to get a ceasefire anytime soon. You see how these arrows are pointing down? These are things that are going to cause the market to go down. And we have a hawkish Fed, which means they're not going to print as much money, which means if we have those three things, we have a war, we have the Fed not printing as much money, we have inflation at all-time highs and commodity prices and oil prices going up. That's the worst case scenario for markets, guys. That is all of the things aligning. It's like the stars aligning for us to dump. Okay. So I personally do not think unless the Federal Reserve switches their tune, right? Unless Jerome Powell starts to print more money, we're not going to go back to new all-time highs anytime soon. I think the risk reward, it's all about risk versus reward, guys. Of course I could be wrong, right? Of course there's always a scenario where the Federal Reserve starts to print more money and we head back to frickin' $70,000, right? That's always a scenario. But in my mind, I think that that's probably a 5% chance right now. Maybe a 5% chance. I think it's a 95% chance that we do something like Pentoshi is saying here and we go down. We have one more little move up. You get a nice little entry here. That's way too high. A nice little move up to $40,000. And then we dump back down, not to $18,000, but I think to $25,000, sure. To $30,000 for sure, right? Somewhere in this range, okay? And so I think this is a 95% chance of happening, in my opinion, okay? Now, how do we benefit from that, right? I told you I had the number one money-making strategy, right? And I know that these lines might seem confusing for people that are new to crypto, but it really isn't that complicated. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and short Bitcoin around the $40,000 level somewhat. I'm going to short Bitcoin. I'm going to short Ethereum. I'm going to short Luna. I'm going to short AVAX. I'm going to short Matic. I'm going to short some of these altcoins that have a chance to go down even more than Bitcoin, okay? Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the Bitcoin chart, okay? And I'm going to follow people like Trader SC and people like Pentoshi who are much smarter than me, okay? They know what the support levels are. They know what the resistance levels are. And whenever I'm making enough money to feel happy with my short, I'm not going to try to call the perfect top. I'm not going to try to call the perfect bottom, right? Whether that's at $35,000, whether that's at $30,000, once my shorts are sufficiently profitable for me to feel like, okay, I made enough money on this move, then I'm going to close out my shorts. I'm going to take that money. I'm going to take it off the table. Does that make sense? So I'm going to short all the way down. I'm going to make a ton of money into this range. And then what am I going to do? How am I going to make the most money in 20? This is the key because, shorting is fine. That's great, but there's not as much upside on shorting, right? Because what's my upside? Let's just think about it logically, right? My upside is this little move here from $40,000 to $30,000. Sure, you can make a lot of money with this little bit of move, right? But the move that I'm interested in making, the move that I want to capitalize on is the generational bottom, right? Let's say I capture this move. Yay, we cash this move in right here. We make some money there. And then we actually end up bottoming out like around here, somewhere down here. And then we eventually head back up to $100,000. I think we all believe, if you're watching this video right now, you believe in crypto, you believe in Bitcoin, you believe that someday Bitcoin, crypto, Ethereum, all of it will be trading at much higher prices, right? That's what we all believe. That's why we're in crypto. So eventually we will be above $100,000 for sure, 100%. And so I'm much more interested in capturing this move here and buying back in down low and getting a 3, 4, 5x on Bitcoin and then a 10x or 20x on altcoins, right? And so I am patiently waiting with capital ready to go for something like this bottom down here so that I can buy back in. Hopefully that's around 25K. I don't know if we'll get that low, maybe 30K, whatever. But it'd be a blessing to get all of this stuff turned around and head back up towards 100K, having accumulated a ton of Bitcoin, a ton of Ethereum, a ton of the best altcoins down here in this range. Does that make sense? So that's the strategy, guys. I know it's you're like, Kale, your strategy is to short and then your strategy is to buy a bunch of Bitcoin, to buy a bunch of coins. Yes, it's very easy. And the reason I think that it's so profitable to do something like this is because it just seems obvious. Let me explain my logic, okay? Because This almost has to happen. You have gas prices at all-time highs, right? So you have inflation. This is how people judge inflation. If you're in the United States, you're like, how high is inflation? Well, you check the gas price, right? And so inflation is really, really high. So in the short term, the Federal Reserve has to try to bring that number down. What does that do? That causes markets to go down, right? That causes the NASDAQ and all of these markets to go down. You combine that with a world war. You combine that with all of the other things that are happening in the world that are just so bad for the economy, like just Russia basically not being able to provide wheat and all of these crazy things. And you have a recipe for an easy short. You have a very, very simple, obvious short down. And then you also know that the result, you also know what happens when everything tanks, right? And you know why you know that? Because of history. And it's not like long history, like this is from 2008. No, this is from 2020. Let me pull up the Bitcoin chart. Let me show you what happens when we have a crisis, okay? I'll show you this crisis. You have to zoom in. Look at this. You have to zoom in. This is COVID, guys. Look at this. This little blip right here. I know it seems crazy, but look, March 2020 is where I'm at on this chart. This blip right here, I know it seems small. But that huge crash right there is what caused the Federal Reserve to jump in and save everyone. They said, nope, this is it. We can't have this much pain in the markets, and we are going to print that money. And after that happened, this was only 2 years ago. Look what happened. Look what happened to these markets. And if you think that they're not going to do this again at some point, then you're crazy. You've lost your mind. And so I do think that the same exact thing is going to play out. Like, look, it's almost going to look identical. We're going to have a bottoming out. We're going to have some kind of crash here. The Federal Reserve is going to step in right here at a bottom, and we're going to go parabolic again. So short it on the way down and buy back in and ride the move back up. If that sounds good to you, smash the like button, guys. Before we go, I want to tell you something else. 2+2 Genesis is where we are going to be. Sorry, my friend is texting me. We are going to be talking about this whole market and like when is the actual bottom, right? I'm going to be in there every single day, just like I am right now, talking with real hardworking people and trying to anticipate, okay, we're in shorts right now, great. Are we going to bottom out anytime soon? Is the news going to shift in our favor? Is this news with the Federal Reserve positive or negative, right? We're going to be talking about all of this stuff. I actually have an AMA, which means an Ask Me Anything. If you want to ask me questions live tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern for everyone who holds one of these NFTs. So if you're interested in that, buy one of the NFTs below. They're pretty cheap right now because obviously the markets are crazy and crashing and it affects everything, including NFTs. Okay, so this is a great time to jump in. And again, the show sponsor, guys, BlockFi.com. Go to BlockFi.com/Kale. They are absolutely incredible. And you should probably grab one of these accounts while you can before they get approved by the SEC. So I love you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Hope this helped you. All right, bye.